Behind the red carpets and flashing cameras, fame can be fragile. Some stars rise to the very top, only to lose everything when they least expect it. Today, we're telling the real stories behind those dramatic falls. Johnny Depp. At one point, Johnny Depp was one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood. With massive franchises and global fame, he seemed unstoppable. His unique acting style and unforgettable characters made him a box office machine. But at the peak of his career, everything started falling apart. Legal battles, financial troubles, and a highly publicized defamation trial turned his private life into global headlines. Studios distanced themselves. Major franchises replaced him. Endorsement deals vanished almost overnight. The shocking part wasn't just the controversy. It was the speed. One of Hollywood's biggest stars suddenly became one of its biggest risks. While millions of fans still supported him, industry executives hesitated. For years, he fought not only legal battles but also a battle to reclaim his public image. His story shows how quickly Hollywood can turn when reputation becomes fragile. Even when someone is at the top, one storm can shake everything. Britney Spears. Britney Spears was not just a pop star. She was a global phenomenon. At the height of her fame, she dominated music charts, award shows, and media headlines. Every move she made became front-page news. But behind the glittering success, pressure was building rapidly. The intense media scrutiny never stopped. Paparazzi followed her everywhere. Every mistake was amplified. Every personal struggle became public entertainment. As her mental health began to suffer, the world watched instead of helping. Then came the conservatorship. At the peak of her earning power, control over her finances and major life decisions was legally taken away. For years, she continued performing while having limited control over her own life. The situation shocked fans worldwide. How could someone so powerful feel so powerless? Her story became a symbol of how fame can trap even the strongest personalities. While she later regained her independence, the years lost at her peak can never be fully recovered. Her story reminds us that success does not always equal freedom. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen was once the highest-paid actor on television. At the height of his career on the hit sitcom 2.5 Men, he was earning millions per episode. His fame was enormous, and his confidence seemed limitless. But everything changed quickly. Public meltdowns, explosive interviews, and ongoing substance abuse issues began dominating headlines. Instead of promoting his show, he was making controversial statements and attacking the very people he worked with. Eventually, the network made a shocking decision. They fired him. One of the most successful TV actors of his generation was suddenly out of his biggest role. The fall was dramatic. Income streams collapsed. Reputation suffered. Hollywood became cautious. What once looked like unstoppable success turned into a cautionary tale. His story shows how personal decisions can directly impact professional empires. When you're at the top, there is more to lose, and sometimes the fall is louder than the rise. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan became famous at a very young age. After starring in successful teen films, she quickly became one of Hollywood's brightest young stars. Directors loved her talent. Brands wanted her face. The future looked unlimited. But as her fame grew, so did the pressure. Constant media attention followed her everywhere. Personal struggles began appearing in headlines instead of movie reviews. Legal troubles, court appearances, and rehabilitation stays slowly replaced film premieres. Studios started seeing her as unreliable. Insurance risks increased. Major roles disappeared. Even though she was still young and talented, the industry became cautious. The saddest part wasn't her mistakes. It was how publicly they unfolded. Every setback became global entertainment. At the peak of her earning power, her career momentum stalled completely. Although she later attempted a comeback and rebuilt parts of her life, the rapid fall during her peak years changed everything. Her story shows how fragile early fame can be when guidance and stability are missing. Kanye West. Kanye West was one of the most influential artists of his generation. His music changed hip-hop. His fashion ventures turned into billion-dollar brands. At his peak, he wasn't just an artist, he was a global business empire. But repeated controversial statements and public outbursts began shifting the narrative. What once seemed like bold creativity started looking unpredictable to corporations. Major brands cut ties. Partnerships worth billions ended almost overnight. The financial impact was massive. Media coverage became less about music and more about controversy. For someone who had built an empire through talent and branding, losing corporate support was a dramatic blow. His story demonstrates how public image directly connects to financial power. At the peak of influence and wealth, a series of decisions changed everything. Fame can build an empire, but controversy can dismantle it just as fast. Amanda Bynes. Amanda Bynes was once one of television's most beloved young stars. Her comedic timing and natural charisma made her a favorite among audiences. She transitioned successfully from children's television to mainstream film. Then suddenly, her behavior changed publicly. Social media posts, unusual interviews, and legal issues began raising concerns. Fans felt confused. The industry felt uncertain. Instead of protecting her, the spotlight intensified. Rumors spread quickly. Casting directors hesitated. Projects disappeared. At a point where she could have become a long-term Hollywood star, her career paused entirely. Later reports revealed serious mental health struggles. The pressure of early fame, combined with personal challenges, became overwhelming. Her story highlights a painful reality. Child stardom does not guarantee emotional preparation for adult success. When support systems fail, even the brightest careers can collapse at their peak. Robert Downey Jr. Before becoming Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. experienced one of Hollywood's most dramatic collapses. In the 1990s, he was considered one of the most talented actors of his generation. But substance abuse issues led to arrests and jail time. Studios labeled him as too risky. Insurance companies refused to cover him. Directors avoided him. At what should have been his breakthrough years, doors closed instead. Many believed his career was permanently over. However, after rehabilitation and determination, he made an extraordinary comeback. When he was cast as Iron Man, few predicted it would redefine his career. His story proves that losing everything at your peak doesn't always mean the end. Sometimes, it becomes the beginning of something greater. Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey was an award-winning actor with decades of respected work. His role in major productions made him one of the industry's most recognized figures. Then allegations of misconduct surfaced. Within days, projects were canceled. Roles were recast. Streaming platforms removed him from productions. It was one of the fastest industry rejections in recent history. Studios acted immediately to distance themselves. Regardless of legal outcomes, the professional consequences were severe. The speed at which opportunities vanished demonstrated how sensitive Hollywood has become to public image crises. His career, once dominant, was nearly erased at its peak. Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser was once an action-adventure icon. His films were box office hits and audiences loved his charm. But after speaking about an alleged assault and dealing with health and personal struggles, roles became scarce. He described feeling pushed aside by the industry. While not officially blacklisted, opportunities dried up. Leading man roles vanished. Public appearances decreased. For years, fans wondered what happened. Behind the scenes, emotional and physical battles were ongoing. Eventually, he made a powerful comeback that surprised everyone. But the years lost during his peak highlight how quickly visibility can fade. Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin became one of the most famous child actors in the world almost instantly. His films were global hits. At a very young age, he earned more than most adults ever would. But intense fame, family conflicts, and public pressure became overwhelming. Instead of enjoying childhood, he was navigating contracts and media attention. Eventually, he stepped away from Hollywood. While not a scandal-driven collapse, it was still a dramatic withdrawal at the height of recognition. He later rebuilt a quieter, healthier life, but his early peak came with costs that shaped his entire adulthood. Hollywood creates stars faster than ever, but it can also abandon them just as quickly. Fame is powerful. Money is powerful. But reputation, mental health, and personal decisions often decide whether success lasts. Some of these celebrities rebuilt their lives. Others are still trying, and their stories remind us that reaching the top is only half the battle. Staying there is even harder. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the rise and fall of fame, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more emotional Hollywood stories. Because on this channel, we don't just talk about fame, we tell the real stories behind it.